So let's begin by actually massaging the front of the neck. I'm going to start with the gorgeous ball. This is a larger ball, and we're just going to sweep across the front of the neck by doing a little twist. And any ball will do. And what happens is you kind of grab the skin a little bit with the ball. So the skin is pulled across the surface of the neck. So it's very light pressure. And you're just picking up the slack. And it's kind of this twisting motion of the ball that kind of picks up the slack in all directions. And you just hold, you'll feel a little pressure, a little tension. I'll do that again. And then now once you get to that side, sweep across the other side. And you may even find that you tip your head away. And then you can stick with that. I'm going to go to a smaller ball. So if you'd like, you can go to a smaller ball now. The smaller ball, you'll get a little bit more. You'll be able to pick up a little bit more. I'm going to start first by working along the jawline. So behind the bottom of the jaw, kind of under the chin, there's a lot of muscles here that go into controlling the voice, swallowing. And so right behind the jaw, I'm going to just take up the slack and twist. Take up the slack. Right under the chin. And be careful not to tip the head back too far. Ah. And you may even find that your head wants to turn one way or the other, moving really gently. And I'm going to go right to the front of the ear. And so now I'm just going to work my way down that big muscle, the sternocleidomastoid, taking up the slack, giving a little twist, taking up the slack, working right down, twisting, feeling the tension of the skin. There's also the platysma, a really skinny, superficial muscle that tightens the skin. And now I'm just going to work along the top of the collarbone. So I'm going to do a little square on this right side. So now going along right above the collarbone. Really don't press a lot of pressure. Just think about twisting, tensifying the skin underneath the ball. And now I'm going to go up the front of the throat, but I'm going to stay outside of the trachea. So just beside it. So right in the front aspect of the neck, you have a floating bone here, your hyoid bone. That's super important. So we're going to get right on the side of that. So right on the side of that hard, kind of corrugated trachea. You'll feel as you get up a little higher, you'll feel a bony point. It's a horseshoe-shaped bone, so stay just the outside of that. You might even twist and then move up and down a little bit and see which way it goes more easily. Take up the slack until any sensation softens. It's kind of like a neck facial. this area is so often avoided when we do any body work or massage because it's a really sensitive area. In this space, we have our, like I said, our trachea, our air pipe, our esophagus, our digestive pipe. We have all the vascular that comes up. And then once you get to the jaw, work your way back over to the other side that you didn't roll yet. So right across the bottom of the chin. We also have all of the vasculature that serves our brain that comes right off of the ascending aorta of the heart, or carotid arteries. And then we also have in this area this area has a lot of nerve innervation in it. In particular, our vagus nerve runs right out kind of along this area, and that controls our parasympathetic system, so our rest and digest system. So by doing this, we're going to be stimulating that. And then now once you get over to the front of the other ear, work your way down the sternocleidomastoid, kind of that meaty muscle. You might be able to put a little bit more pressure into that. You may gently tip your head away. You may even twist the ball and then actively side bend the head a little. Careful not to move the head too much to an extreme range. Working down right to the top of the collarbone. Taking up the slack, and then maybe even moving the head away. Feeling how now you're pinning and lengthening. Whatever feels right in your body. Working right across the top of the collarbone now. So the ball becomes a little fulcrum. And then now work up the side of the throat. So stay outside of the trachea, esophagus, into the side of the hyoid. We're going to be getting into this musculature in a little bit. Right back up. Then go ahead, let go of the ball for a second. Just maybe open and close the jaw a couple times. Maybe it feels a little different than normal. Yeah. And then maybe even look up towards the sky. And notice if you can let your head tip back any further than normal. Feel like you have a little bit more range there. Yeah, I put my hand kind of right on my sternum so that I didn't lean back from my chest, but that my chest stayed still. And then I felt the length through the front of the neck. I kind of just anchored my sternum. Great. Okay, excellent. So from there, we're going to come down onto our side. So we're going to put a little bit more pressure now into the sternocleidomastoid muscle, like that meaty will come out of kind of that front sensitive area, and we'll be able to apply a little bit more pressure to that musculature in the side of the neck. So this is where I like to use a block. So a block or like a firm kind of cushion or a couple books, because if you just put the ball on the floor, your neck won't be in alignment then. So on my side, with the ball right on the big meaty muscle on the side of my neck. So you can see it popping out. So I'm just gonna come under the ear, right underneath the ear is gonna be right where it attaches. And then what we'll do is you'll be able to feel it because we'll come on and off of it. So if you rotate your chin up towards the sky just a little bit, you'll come right onto the occiput, so onto the skull bone. And then if you bring your chin forward, you'll come a little bit more right into that bony prominence right under the ear. So do that a couple times. Rotate along the back of the skull. And then rotate the chin down, coming onto the sternocleidomastoid, right onto that big muscle. And you'll feel a change in sensation. So just notice what you're feeling. If you feel like you're efforting or kind of working hard to sort of notice, just find stillness and let the head just be heavy on the ball. Maybe everybody, just for a moment, just find stillness and totally let your head fall into the ball, being completely supported. So that you're not efforting to move the head. You're not efforting to find something. You're just listening to what's arriving. Yeah. And then from here, let's just change that action a little bit. Make a little head nod. So you actually may find that after doing work like this, you may even be able to see a little bit more clearly. Like if you wear readers, you might find that you can actually see a little more easily. Or you may even feel a change in your hearing. Like if you have tinnitus, this can help with that. Those things are associated with shifting into that more restorative nervous system state. And then just find stillness again, taking a few more breaths here, maybe changing the location just a little bit to find that just right spot for your body, right at the edge of the skull, just under the ear, softening, really just allowing the weight of the head to do the work. And now let's shift that ball a little bit into the jaw. So now you're going to come in front of the ear, right in front of the hole of the ear. And then you're just going to come down off the jaw a little bit, actually off the cheekbone a little bit, so that you're positioned right in between the jaw and the cheekbone. So just in front of the ear and then maybe down an inch. And you'll feel a little bit of a hollow spot. And so just arrive, notice the sensation, soften the jaw. And Lisa, this just made me think of you. If this is too intense, I think you'll be fine on this side, but if the small ball or a solid ball is too intense, you can replace it with a larger ball or a softer ball, like an air-filled ball, and that will disperse the sensation a little bit. So the smaller the ball and the firmer the ball, the more intense the sensation. If you only have one and you need a little bit, you can also put a towel over the ball. That will just soften it a little bit. And so feel the head heavy on the ball. Relax the jaw so the teeth and the lips are parted. And then let's do the same thing. Let's just do a gentle no. Really gentle. That no is like maybe an inch at most. And you want that
No, to be more like a rocking, kind of like a lapping of water or a rocking of a baby. Really self-soothing, allowing you to soften into the heaviness of the head on the ball, not activating or stimulating you so that you use the musculature to lift the head off the ball. And then let go of the no. And then see what happens when you change that action to a little bit of a yes. Just moving the head. If you find that you're engaging musculature in the neck, you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Can you stop the movement? Take a breath and let go of any activation or over-efforting. Just release into the weight of the ball. And then release the pressure from under the head. We're going to change positions, but leave the ball and the block right where they are. So now we're going to come to our hands and knees for this next variation. And I'll show you with my other ball. We're literally going to take now more pressure still to that front neck musculature. We're going to come right underneath the collarbone. And we're going to place the collarbone right where the ball and the block meet. And then work our way out, out, out. A couple ball stops. If this doesn't feel good, if the pressure is too much, here's the modification. Go back to right where we started. Twisting the ball on the skin, taking up the slack, maybe even moving the head away. Twisting the ball, taking up the slack, maybe rotating, tipping, moving the ball away. Moving the head away. So this is a perfect option. There's no right way or wrong way. It's whatever feels better and more accessible and more supportive in your body. So you can come here, and then I'm going to come here, and I'll show you. I'm going to bring this ball right underneath my collarbone, just off of my sternum or my chest bone. And then I'm going to keep my hips high, and I'm going to drop my head and chest low. And then what I use here is the exhale. So I like this position because gravity is assisting that exhale. With my head beneath my heart or beneath my hips, it's allowing the emptying. And same thing, if this small ball is too much, you can take a slightly softer or a larger ball. So here, I'm just gonna take a peek for those of you that I see. Yeah. Yeah, that's great, Lisa. If you do want to progress, you can do the gorgeous ball even here. So when you're ready, don't try to force it. It's just going to be totally different. The alpha, if you have the alpha, that's a really good place to start with this one too. And if you are over the ball, really emphasize the breath, filling with your breath right where the ball and the body meet. Can you let your head turn so that the side of your forehead rests on the floor so that you're not holding the head up? And with each exhale, feel like you're collapsing into the ball, making sure you reposition it 3, 4, 5 different places right along those top 2 or 3 ribs. And then release. Great, nice work. Awesome. Okay, we'll come to the other side, do the jaw, the base of the head, the top of the sternocleidomastoid, and the ribs on that side. So same thing on the other side. Does anyone have any questions or concerns before they go to the other side? Okay, so let's begin. And please feel free to ask at any time. This is really sensitive space. So I'm happy to answer any questions and give you modifications. So start in that place just under the ear. There's that bony landmark, that little bone that sticks down. So come just off of that. And then we're just going to roll onto the skull and then off right onto the top of that musculature. So find your way there. First, just explore the bottom of the skull a little bit, getting used to the weight of the head on the ball. And this side might feel completely different. I tend to find that when I do this work, the second side never feels like the first. And that's for 2 reasons. Because we've already started to work through into the nervous system. So a little bit of a no onto the back of the skull. And even pause if you find a place of sensation right along the base of the skull. We'll come back here again later. So just notice how it feels. If you feel like you're holding the head up, maybe just start by finding stillness. And then coming up right off of that bone, right behind, underneath the ear, just down from that, just slightly. There should be a big cord-like muscle that you're rolling on and off. Come right onto that muscle, and then just give a little nod, a little yes and no. A little yes, not a no. And at any time, if movement feels like it's too stimulating or if it's tightening the muscles in your head and neck, if you feel like you're becoming active instead of softening in, just pause and breathe. Stillness is just as effective, sometimes if not more. Take a few deep breaths. Find a point of sensation. Maybe even if you move down just a tiny bit, right along that meaty cord-like muscle, just under the ear. And as you find a spot of sensation and place the ball there, notice how that sensation feels intense at first. Like you can really visualize a circle or a shape right underneath where the ball and the body meet.
And then take a couple breaths. With each breath, letting the head be heavier, feeling that circle start to broaden. And if it feels like a vivid color or intense intensity, you feel that start to mute. So it's like that sensation starts to get diluted, diluted, diluted with each breath. Until you're left with just the sensation of where the body and the ball meet, just the pressure. And then go ahead, remove the ball. We'll reposition it now to our jaw. So coming in now in front of the ear opening and then down just about an inch. So now that you're between the jaw and the cheekbone, there's just a little hollow spot right there. But once you lie onto it, and Amanda, are you using the Coregeous ball or using an air-filled ball? I can't hear. Because, okay, yeah, that's fine. If you have a smaller one, you might feel like you're able to be a little bit more direct. If it's too intense, stay with that. Yeah, try that unless it feels like you're fighting it. Just, I suggested the smaller ball because the bigger one, you can't really get into that little spot. You have this really thick muscle, your masseter, that clenches here. And the next few things we're going to do is going to be work the opposing musculature. So I really want to try to get into there. But if it's too much, you can come back to the small one. But I really want to try to see if you can soften that masseter so that we're able to open our jaw more. And then we're gonna get some activation of to keep the length in it. So here, do a little rock of the head, a little no. You're going across, so a cross fiber massage, like a strumming to that masseter. Breathing, nice long exhales through the mouth, keeping the lips slightly apart. So lips and teeth parted so that you're not fighting the work you're doing by clenching. So nice soft jaw, a little bit more space. Yeah, that was a perfect adjustment. And then maybe you do a little yes, a little nod. Only if it feels right. Listening to where your body wants you to go. The most important thing is keeping the eyes soft, the jaw soft, the head relaxed. Letting the body be as at ease as possible so that gravity and time and then your long exhalations are the driver for the release. They're what do the work of the letting go. And then go ahead and come off of here. Maybe move the jaw around just a little bit. Awesome. Yeah. Now coming back to the front. So now coming just beneath the collarbone, you can sit and do the skin rolling again, or you can come down on toward down onto a block. And again, the smaller the ball, the more intense it's going to be. The larger the ball,
the softer or the lesser the intensity, because more surface area will be covered. But what I really want you to focus on here is breathing into where the ball and the body meet. And really focusing on the exhalation, collapsing in the exhalation, letting gravity help the respiratory diaphragm come back into a relaxed state. And mobilizing the first couple of ribs. This is the area of breathing connected to anxiety. So a lot of our lung meridian points are here. Our anxiety points are located here. So we want to come out of this anterior upper chest wall breathing. Because when we are anxious, our breath is shallow and we stay inflated. So it gets that type activation. So this is to come out of that to create more length in the front neck and chest wall. So breathing deeply, finding a few places to place the ball. Right along the top 1 or 2 ribs, just underneath the clavicle or the collarbone. Maybe even sighing. Just a couple more breaths. And then releasing. Coming all the way onto our backs. As you come onto your back, you're going to take with you, actually first, before you go onto your back, place both of your therapy balls back into a tote. Because the next time we use the double ball, they'll be in the tote. If you don't have the double ball, that's okay too. So for the next thing, I'm going to take the gorgeous ball behind my head, and you'll see how that raises me up. If you don't have the gorgeous ball, this is where a rolled up towel about this size will work. Or, Margot, you can also try this and take your smaller air-filled ball up onto a block. I'll try at least one like this too, so you can try it. But this is the preferable way. And then I'll try with the block too, just so I can give a good cue there. We're gonna take our knees bent so our spine is stable, our pelvis is stable. The gorgeous ball or rolled up towel comes behind my head. Look how my head is slightly tipped down. So my chin is slightly down. To help you get there, you can even take your hands to the back of the head, give a little traction and kind of downward tip so that I really get a nice length in the back of my neck. So now the action is going to be this. Chin towards your throat so that you lengthen the back of the head. So the back of the neck is really long. Then the entire head goes straight down like an elevator into the ball. And I'm going to hold that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to release. I feel 2 things there when I do that. I feel the front of the neck work, and I even feel a little strain, like a pulling, stretching in the back of my neck towards the base of my head. So if you're already set up like this with your towel or your air-filled gorgeous ball or larger ball, go ahead and do that again. Tuck the chin so that you feel the chin come towards the throat, then the whole head goes down towards the floor like an elevator. Don't arch the back of the neck. The back of the neck stays really long and everything's pushing down.
Keep tucking the chin towards the throat as you push down so that you feel the front of the neck working as well. Hold that for 3, 2, 1, and then release. I'm going to try with a smaller ball and a block just so I can give feedback. So that smaller ball is going to be up kind of just underneath the base of the head. So you'll do a little nod so that you feel the lengthening just under the skull. Tuck the chin and then push everything down. Squish the ball. Let's try 3 more at your own pace. Hold each one for about 10 seconds, feeling the chin come towards the throat, feeling the whole head push down like an elevator descending into the floor. Keep the back of the neck long, and then release. If anyone's having difficulty, please let me know. Nice, Lisa, that looks good. A little bit more chin down, Margot. Get a little bit more of the nod if you can, so that you really get that tucking of the chin so it lengthens out right where the head and the skull meet. And then release. Nice, nice, Lisa. Nice readjustment. Do 2 more times. Amanda, have you let go? Yeah, there you go. I was waiting to see you let go. That looks like a great tuck. Yeah, then make sure, and that ball size is perfect. Yeah. So nice job bringing the chin in. That position looked perfect. And I was just waiting, like, let's see what happens when you let go. So 2 more on your own time. Nice hold, nice length of hold as well. Please let me know if you have any questions. Chin really tucks towards the throat. So it's almost like, and you almost feel the bottom jaw drop down and back. I want you to feel it in the front of the neck, engaging. Finish your last round wherever you are. And by engaging these front muscles, you'll feel how the back of the head, that tension headache area, that suboccipital area, starts to relax. It starts to lengthen. You get less strain or pull in the back of the neck each time. Feeling it shift from that back pulling to the front working. So really focus on the chin coming down. Like you're trying to bring your chin, we're mostly all evening today, but like you're trying to bring the chin right into that Adam's apple type area. And keeping that pushing down. Great. Excellent work. So now take everything out from behind your head. Let the head rest on the floor. You might feel like your head's resting in a totally different position than normal, like a different part of your head is touching the floor than normally would. So now from here, we're going to take our ball, the same ball you're using, right underneath the chin. And I have my Coregeous ball a little flat, which I prefer, and I kind of bundle it up a little bit, and I tuck it into the chin. And this is where also a smaller air-filled ball is perfect too, so what you have is perfect, Margot. That fits really nicely there. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to tuck the chin. Same thing we just did, but now we'll have resistance to that tuck. So when you're ready, get that ball underneath your chin now, and then tuck the chin towards the throat and feel the back of the head lengthen. Pushing the back of the neck into the floor.
Maybe engaging your abdominals just slightly so that you're not using the mid back or the low back to do the work. A towel roll could also work well here if you're having a hard time getting the ball into place. And release. Let's do 2 more just like that. Oops.
Yeah. Or Lisa, try the alpha ball. It's a little hard, but I think it's a good size. Yeah. Runaway balls. Is that better? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, perfect.
Nice, awesome. That's what Jackie's doing too. She's
Yeah.
And release. Do 1 more round like this, then we're going to add a second component to it as well. So tuck the chin towards the throat. Squish the ball like you're popping a balloon. Then once you get there, try opening the jaw. So tuck the chin, then push the jaw into the ball. And then you'll feel even more activation. Yeah. I'm going to try it with a smaller ball just so I can feel what you're feeling. And release. 2 more times like that. And then release. Finish this round. And then we have 1 more variation. This is where it gets a little hard, where you can stay with where you are or you can add on. This next addition will actually get a tiny hover of the head. But if you find that your chin starts to tip up and you start to feel it in the back of the neck, keep the head on the ground. But it's going to be the same steps. Tuck the chin into the throat, push down with the jaw, and then think about looking toward your navel so that you're still getting that rounding and it's just barely a little lift. So let's try 3 of those. If you can lift the head and maintain that anterior or that front neck activation, great. If it hurts to lift the head or if there's back neck discomfort or arching back of the head to get up, don't lift. On the next variation, you may try tucking the chin, keeping the tuck and lifting. Then once you lift, opening the jaw. See what feels better. Whatever version you're doing, do 1 more. I'm sure the neck's starting to feel a little fatigued because this isn't stuff that we often do. We're working the opposite of all those muscles that are usually short and tight. So these muscles are generally long and weak, so they'll fatigue quickly. And then release all the way. Once you release, just let the head rock side to side, rotating gently. And then take your, you have two options here. A bunch of you have your alpha ball. So I would say take the alpha ball right to the base of the head and let the head just rest on the alpha ball. So you must traction the skull away from the back of the neck with the alpha ball so that the alpha ball is resting in the suboccipital space. If that feels too small or isn't staying, or if you have a set of the standard therapy balls in the tote, take those balls up onto a block and then let the head just hover and be cradled on the therapy balls. Take a few deep breaths. Let the arms relax. The legs relax. The jaw relax. The eyes relax. Back into the skull. Even let the brain be really heavy. Feeling the brain drop away from the inside of the forehead, sinking back to the back wall of the skull. The whole head, jaw and neck really heavy, supported and at ease. Unhinge your bottom jaw, parting the teeth and lips. And just let your body breathe itself, feeling the air come in and out. Find a moment of constructive rest. Feeling supported, letting go into ease. Taking one more deep breath. Rolling to your side and making your way back to sitting where we started. Thank you so much for joining.